Hello, how's it going? Welcome to Oalawahu. It is May 16th, 2023, and I am recording this video. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about some housing stuff that's going on here in Canada and talk about what I think is a pretty significant issue that people seem to be missing. Number one, according to Stats Canada, British Columbia, the province of British Columbia, has the highest eviction rate in the country. 85% of all evictions in BC are considered no fault evictions, which means that people are evicted for the landlord's purposes, renovation or owner occupancy, renovation or owner occupancy. Of those 85%, 25% of those people ended up in a shelter or homeless. So those are kind of really shitty numbers. That's a lot of people that are being negatively impacted by the housing crisis in Canada. So it is possible with current trends that we could crest 1 million people underhoused or homeless in the next decade. Think about that for a sec. With current trends, we could crest 1 million people underhoused or homeless in the next decade in Canada. And so let's put that into perspective for everyone. If you walk past 100 people in a day, so let's say you're at a shopping mall or something like that, and you're walking down the street, one out of those of 100 people, so one of the 100 people that you walk past at least are struggling with housing. They're either underhoused or homeless. If we don't do something, okay, if we don't do something and we continue on the same trend, then that number will change from 1 in 100 to 1 in 38 Canadians being underhoused or homeless. Think about that, 1 in 38. Do you know 38 people? If you think about colleagues, friends, family, acquaintances, you probably know or have met at least 38 people in your lifetime. And so at least one of those people in the next decade could very well be homeless or underhoused. And if that doesn't give you pause, then we're not thinking about the long-term impacts of what this means for Canadian society. 1 million unhoused people in Canada would have serious detrimental impacts on the economy, on our social covenant and our social structure, our social programs. It would have massive impacts on healthcare. People who are underhoused or homeless, they struggle. And it baffles my mind that in a country like Canada, where we have the second largest landmass in the world of all the nations, it boggles my mind that we can't somehow have enough housing to house to house our citizens. Like, there's something seriously wrong. And how do we fix it? What can we do to fix it? I don't know the answers, but what I do know is that what we're doing right now isn't working. And everybody just pointing their finger at government and blaming government doesn't work either. Just like you can't blame developers because it's not all their fault. You can't blame realtors. You can't just blame lenders. And, everybody plays a role and everybody has to step up and play a role. But all we're seeing today is everybody spending all of their time just simply pointing their fingers at what everybody else is doing or not doing and saying, well, they can fix it. The developers and builders are blaming government. Government is blaming builders. Realtors are blaming government and lenders. People are blaming the interest rates. It's just, but what nobody's doing is stepping up and saying, how do we fix it? How do we come together and fix these problems? And until we do that, we're going to see constant issues around the deliverance of ensuring that people in this country have adequate housing. And we're going to see continued issues with people struggling with cost of living. And as that continues to get exasperated, because everybody's so focused, I mean, it's all about making money, right? It's not about citizenship, it's not about long term. Everybody wants to make money right now. We need to make money right now. Because if we make it right now, who cares what happens in 10 years? And that's the attitude that we have. Nobody plans for tomorrow. And yeah, all of our politicians say that they do, but we all know they don't. We all know that they're not really worried about what happens in 20 years or to the next generation. All our political people really care about is power. How much power can they get? How, make a name for themselves, become something influential politically so you have legacy. But what kind of a legacy are they building? We're building a country that's becoming more and more polarized, right versus left, which I don't understand, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other video. And we have politicians and government that continue to promote and push this attitude, this mindset of us versus them. There is no us versus them. There's only we. We are all Canadian. We all struggle with the same struggles. We worry about, the cost of living. We worry about housing. We worry about getting to work on time in the morning. We worry about, being able to afford to feed ourselves. We worry about having love in our life. And if we have children, we worry about our kids every second of every day, as parents do. We worry. We have so many other things to worry about. And what we have happening is politicians on all sides, right and left, are spending so much time fanning the flames of this supposed culture war that never existed until they created it. So, why are they doing what they're doing? They're not looking out for us. They're not looking out for our futures. They're not looking out for our best interest. And I have to say that I don't know how to fix it, but what I do know is I'm pissed off. And it's high time that we got some political leadership in this country and frankly around the world that gave more shits about their citizens and you and I than they did about their own power and lining their own pockets.